the truth which Nico Halle is asking for is, when there is no justice, you cannot have the truth. When there is no equality, you cannot have the truth. When there is nepotism, favoritism, you can never have the truth. When people embezzle funds, you can never have the truth, because to embezzle, you must use tricky and crooked ways to embezzle. You can never be talking the truth and embezzling. Impossible. So those are some of the things which make him stand up clear.
When there is injustice.
Yes, he has gone to the field.
When there is injustice, who is responsible for this injustice?
Clarkson, you seem to be posing the answer rather than posing the question. You ask who is responsible for injustice. We know in Cameroon there are 3 arms of the state, okay? You have the judiciary, the legislative, and when you see that one person dominates all of the 3 arms, it's practically unheard of. So that person dictates and the other people only follow. I'm not the one to tell you that justice in Cameroon is a commodity.
The Cameroon market.
It's a commodity. Justice in Cameroon is a commodity. The highest bidder carries the day. Even when Justice Mukube was talking last time, he castigated
yeah. Barrister Ntumfor Nico Halle said somewhere that Anglophone elite must speak the truth to the President of the Republic.
Truly the elite must speak the truth.
Yeah, what is this truth? What is this truth?
The truth is this, Tabi. The truth is, what is happening on the field is not related in toto to the President of the Republic. We got Garga Haman, he went there, came back, spoke. We got the late Cardinal Chumi, may his soul rest in peace. He went there, came back, spoke. There is that missing link. People go to the field, they see black. When they come back, they report white. That is where the missing link is. And until the people report, you get the Minister of Territorial Administration. We won't say it. Often in
Minister Minister
in his outings, he will tell you everything. The situation is normal. And as he's ending his statement, there is bloodshed on the field. What then is the situation being normalized?
Okay, Full Godfrey, what is the truth about the Anglophone crisis? When the barrister comes out and says the truth must be spoken.
I think Mr. Nico addressed
barrister.
The barrister Nico talk about the truth after a meeting chaired by the Commission of the Bilingualism. And I think I listened to the person who, through the speech, that's who opened the floor. He opened the floor by saying everybody should say what he knows and he can without any fear. But when you look at the things, you discover that it's after. Because when you hear all what was discussed inside, nothing came out. I heard one lady who was saying people should go to the bush and talk to those guys who took arms against the Republic. Yes, she said that. But many people are not saying what they're supposed to say. Meanwhile, forums have been given for people to speak their truth. I think we have the big dialogue who just passed, and before the crisis will just go to where they were. We cannot count how many times the Prime Minister went to Bamenda to discuss, and whensoever he goes there, the next day as he's going, there is another proposal. When he goes, the next day is another proposal. Which simply means, as he is talking about I will not even go, because we are in a society where we are free, and I think any Cameroonian have something to give in as far as the construction of Cameroon is.
But I want to believe that those CPT and barons from the northwest and southwest regions, they are not speaking the truth. Are they not speaking the truth, or are they speaking the truth?
It is like we want to throw the stone towards somebody that maybe.
Because when the barrister, when Ntumfor comes out like that and says that the truth must be spoken.
No, the truth must be spoken. It's not only you will not tell me that all the leaders that are in the CBTM are from CBTM. all of them are not from CPTM. We have many parties that are there. There are more than 20 parties that are represented in the Northwest, which are the head of them has opened and said everybody should contribute to see how peace may come back to this zone.
What is the truth then?
When there are forums like that one, that they said anybody should say what he can say without not fear. That's an opportunity for the least Cameroonian to say what he can say, because what you are saying is something that will contribute. But when you see they are there, people are not really saying what they support to say, but when they talk about the truth, I think the truth is something that relies in somebody's mind, and you cannot get into that mind until the person who spoke it out.
What is the truth according to you?
When he said that,
what is your truth?
No, when he said that, it simply means there are many things. Because I will not lie with Mr. Tabi. You know, when some people sit, they talk about our armed forces just like they are talking about any type of person. And I just imagine a republic where there is no army, no police, no nothing. And sometimes when we sit in a platform like this, we take certain things, but outside there, they are not applicable. When he's talking about the truth, I will just take one point: collaboration. If the people of the Northwest and maybe other who live in those regions were so courageous to collaborate with the state official and the forces of law that are there, I think most of things have been done to see the excesses that are going on dropping down.
Okay, Seseko. Yes. Thank you. We are coming back to you. Seseko, you are a Seseko. What is the truth?
Well, before I answer your question, you know, what Barrister said, you are already seeing it in this platform. He says they should say the truth. So, you see, at one point, it is said that when you want to make a man to look stupid, you should ask a Chinese to speak Kenyan when he has never been to Malaysia. And you know, it is said that when you have soap in your eyes, you don't quarrel with the price of water. It's just bad. I have never seen a terrible situation like the one I'm witnessing now for my a little bit above 40 years of life. But I want to hope that the barrister meant what he said. Though I would have been more happier if he said, I am going to tell the president the truth. I would have preferred those terminologies. I am going to tell the president the truth. And secondly, I would have loved him to say, as we have come out like this, at the end of all these meetings, because this is not the first, they have also done one in the Northwest and they are going round. At the end of this, we are going to meet the president. We are going to meet, because they will not meet him, they are going to transmit all the result of what they are going to get. And so, when you start looking only at the premises at which they are working, your reporter drew a very wonderful conclusion. He said, there is skepticism on the fact that as much as that commission has come out, their report is going to be forwarded to somewhere, and so they don't have a decision making. That is what your reporter said at the end of his speech. Let me go now straight to answer your question. You know, I like to answer questions the way they are. When Barrister says the truth should be spoken, he is talking about the root causes of the armed conflict in the Northwest and Southwest region should be what should be pronounced, and not that they have formed commission, they had a measured dialogue, they have given special status, because these are the things that we have kept, some people have kept preaching because we have never stood for it. So Barrister is trying to put forward the argument that if all these efforts have been made, people are still dying, there is still a problem. It means the rightful thing has not been done because the rightful things are not said. Which are those rightful things? Number one, the root cause of this problem is 1972. the root cause of this problem is 1972. And when 1972 occurred, that is the fraudulent referendum that took place and cancelled the Federal Republic of Cameroon, it started laying the groundwork for the efforts of assimilation, because the real intention was to bring a unitary state so that they could make all what it takes to change Southern Cameroonians into the culture of what the other majority Cameroonians were into.
Assimilation.
That is what we have described throughout history as a policy of assimilation.
You said a while ago that fraudulent elections in Nigeria.
Yeah, I said fraudulent referendum.
Referendum.
Yeah, fraudulent referendum.
So elections.
Yes, it was it was a fraudulent referendum. In the first reason being that they did not even need to tamper with the constitution following what was agreed in Fuma in 1961. That is already a fraud. Number two is that if you wanted to ask people about the aspect of stopping a federation, you had to ask those who proposed federation, because the East Cameroon did not ask for a federation. It is West Cameroon that came to the marriage with the vision of a federation, and then it was adopted by the Assembly of East Cameroon. The Assembly of West Cameroon, we must say, did not take part in endorsement of that constitution. Now, if you wanted now to change it, you would have gone to ask them back. You people said you wanted a federation, we gave it. Have you not seen that it is not working? We think it is not working, so vote back and make a choice. If they refuse it, then it would have gone operational. Number four, as I'm saying, the main reason behind the referendum was not because it was expensive as it was presented, because the budget of Cameroon has kept increasing from 1972 to today, where it is above 5,000 million or whatever it is. Again, when they talk about the issue of running two assemblies or governments, today we are going to run several assemblies in those regions and several governments in those regions. So you see that along the line, this is what the Ntumfor is talking about. The truth should be told, because when the truth is told, the president can start working on those truths, and when he start working on those truths, be rest assured that he's going to get a breakthrough. Truth number three, it is the issue of what we have kept on talking of marginalization, because in the course of this unitary state, the number of people who used to have responsibilities in West Cameroon have disappeared. They have lost their portfolio. For example, it was agreed that if the president, who was Ahijo at that time, President Ahijo, sorry, at that time, the vice president was supposed to, John Gofoncha, who came from West Cameroon. And this was supposed to be a retroactive effort, in the sense that the two Cameroons that became one were going to be into leadership to make Cameroon move forward. Along the line, the post of vice president was cropped off, and now it became general that anybody can have it. That is another truth. There is a problem of marginalization which we have kept crying. Because take for example, Tabi, without having to mince any words, if they ask you to just name a number of people in a certain category, you will name about the first 10 before you start seeing people from the other side coming into it. And then it goes around for other domains.
Anglophones have been marginalized.
Yeah, last years.
That is the truth.
It is not a truth, it is a big truth. Because truth is a bit being moderate. I don't want to be moderate today. Because as we have said, we are here to say the truth so that it can get to the rightful quarters and then the proper actions can be taken. And the last and not the least is that the another truth is that now that we have gone into an armed conflict, the truth about it is that arms was not going to solve it, as people are trying to preach and encourage the president to say that deploy more troops, deploy more tankers, deploy more armor cars, do a curfew, and so on and so forth. So the last truth is that this war is not going, this armed conflict is not going to end through arms. It's going to end through negotiation. And if they continue to preach the aspect of negotiation or dialogue, inclusive one and veritable one, not the one that was done in 2019, then these truths are going to open the way for peace to return.
1961, many dates here, 1961, 1960, 1961, 1972,
1983 first, the first constitution that changed the name
1983,
from the United Republic to the Republic of Cameroon.
1984 and so on. Can we say, Alemken, that the truth equally is this living together? Is living together a problem today?
From the very simple point of view, living together in Cameroon is not even a problem. There is no problem with living together in Cameroon. Living together is an accessible element in any part of the world. You have Cameroonians in America, in Japan, in Asia. They live together with other groupings. I think I will begin from where Dr. Eyong ended, the truth from the grassroots. Now let me take the truth now at the level of what we have today. And I will begin with what we call the public administrators. Then I will end with the elites. The very fact that our public administrators don't tell the truth has continued to nourish the war, has continued to nourish this killing. When an SGO, a governor, stands up to say that everything is under control, and at the very moment, within a few hours, you hear there are 6 dead here, 50 dead here, and etc. At the very moment, you hear that it is impossible for you to leave Bamenda to Bambili. At the very moment, you are told that Bamenda to Bambili is 2,000 instead of 500 that used to be. Or at the very moment, you are told that from Bamenda to Ndop is 18 checkpoints on the road instead of the 3 that we used to know. I think something is wrong. The senior DOs, the governors, they need to tell the report to Yaoundé exactly what is happening on the field. I think they sat there. They saw an Amba General train soldiers and graduate them and carry out the public ceremony, gave them epaulets, and gave them the power to go to the field and fight. I don't know why the presidency even had that report. And today, we see that our people are being cut into pieces, be they the military, be they the civilian, be they the Amba boys, they are all Cameroonians. This is the truth that has to be told to the head of state, since he is one who has the yam and the knife, since the assembly has been unable to do anything, since the assembly listens only to the executive. Then now, lastly, I will now stick to the elites. I think the elites, they should know that 4 years into the conflict, if it was money that they wanted, they have chopped enough. Let me use the term. If it was money that they wanted, they have chopped enough. I think if we want to audit the money that has been spent on the crisis in Ozo, I think the COVID crisis, the COVID gate will be zero. The COVID gate will be zero. So my plea is that the elites should be able to put their heads together, particularly those from the CPDM who claim that they hold the yam and the knife. They should be able to book for audience. But Alamke, when you talk of elites, somebody will also ask the question, are you not an elite? No, in Cameroon, the Cameroon government is such a way that those that they consider elites are those in their party. I'm not a member of the CPDM, I'm a political. So those they consider as elites. Is NS Akufo not an elite? NS Akufo is a cultural elite. It's a cultural elite. And those who stand for the truth were considered as opposing. Yes, you may not belong to any political party, but you are considered as opposing. So what I'm saying is that our elites should address the report. They should, without any fear. That is the truth Ntumfor is asking them to do. That hypocrisy should stop. The word pocket resistance, pockets of resistance left and right should cease to exist. Only last week alone, between the 14th of June to June 24th, I think our military has suffered several on the ground, with a lot of military people dying. A lot of military people dying. Both the military and the civilian. Exactly. And the military equally has suffered a lot of losses at the level of equipment and material. I think that is all the taxpayer money. It is our money. It is the country's money. All this war, Alamke, nobody is winning. No, nobody. Who has ever won a war? Nobody wins a war. Nobody wins a war. People have claimed that the army cannot lay down arms. The army cannot lay. No. Nobody wins in a war. A war, no matter how it is, whether it is holy war, it is a moral war, a war remains destructive. A war remains a destructive element to human life and human society. And consequently, our elites, as Ntumfor has said, they should wash their hands clean this time around. If not, the next term of the problem will carry their heads.
Full Godfrey, that the divisional officers, the DOs, the senior divisional officers, the SDOs, traditional leaders too, maybe religious leaders, they are not speaking the truth.
Yes, I think we said the Northwest and Southwest elite are supposed to to say the truth. And I think we are on a Republican debate. You see, that's why I will not react when somebody is saying something, because I know all of them are elite from the two regions. And I want just to remind my co-panelists, Alenken and others, that they have always, and they should always make the distinction between a member of a party. I don't want to call any of the party, and somebody who is called up as a servant of a country and who have to take over a Republican duty, maybe to serve civilians. At that moment, there is no distinction between CBTM or SDF. I'm trying to do this because there are some people who always make the mix-ups to think that because I belong to this party, I'm more protected. No, it is not like that.
Alenken does not belong to any political party anyway.
He does not belong. I consider him as an elite so long as he has something to do for the construction of this nation. And that's why I allow him when they say the truths are supposed to be.
What is the truth then? Are the SDOs, the DOs not speaking the truth?
Yes, I wanted just to
the governors,
because we should not be calling the SDOs and all the rest as they are the member of the CBTM. No. I want that those things should
Mr. Fu, I think we said we should speak the truth here.
No, we are
speaking the truth.
We are speaking the truth, and that's why I consider all of us as elite.
No, but
we are saying
how can you say a fallacy that the DOs and the SDOs are not of the CBDM?
You are the one saying that. You are on what we used to verify.
Is it possible? Is it possible in Cameroon today?
Maybe those who are saying that may have what they can measure and know that this person belongs to this party. But I know that if you carry out the duty of the party, you must be under the party. But when you are carrying out a Republican duties, you are as
like that of the SU or
any other Cameroonian. So I think they have said many things here, and I think we are on a Republican debate, and in Republican debate we respect ourselves, and all of us here are suggesting. And I think if what they are saying is the truth, maybe it is China to the right quarters. But what I want to make them understand is they should not behave as the Cameroon government have not been doing a lot to see this crisis. And the head of state have always been open, and he said he's open to all the proposals. And that is why I go back to the opening of the speech there, who was saying you can say what you want without any fear, which simply means sometimes when you want to press a child, even if he has something to tell you, maybe that child will hide it, and that's the hidden side that will cause a problem tomorrow. So when we have debate like this one, it is a good forum, and that's where you see that Cameroon, in other countries, we cannot even have freedom to speak as we are speaking. And today there are people who
and this freedom is a CBTM making. That is what you are saying. It's the CBTM making.
At least
we can give progress to the CBTM.
That is why the CBTM have been carried again higher height because of the way they do their things, and they make Cameroonians to feel free at home. Okay, the truth must be spoken.
That is what Ntumfor, Nico, Halle is saying. Well, we are concluding on this first topic. Each speaker will have 2 minutes as we conclude. I'll begin with you, Ntumfor. The truth must be spoken. The DOs, government ministers, the SDOs, traditional leaders, equally religious leaders, are they not speaking the truth?
Topic Clarkson, before I get to your question, I think Siseko went down memory lane talking about the history, the genesis of the upheaval that has resulted into a war. Must call it a war, because the arms we're getting on the field are not arms used to make peace. They are arms to destroy, to kill. The DOs, the government ministers, I think they are appointees, okay? And since they are appointees, and most of them are civil servants, they only have to go according to the law, because there is the person that appoints them expects them to follow the tune of the piper is playing. So you cannot come today to say governors, DOs, senior divisional officers, even bureau chiefs, once they are appointed by the government, immediately they put on the CPDM coat, which is too bad. Yes, it's too bad. During election period, when you get to the offices, you don't find anybody. Everybody, right to the bureau chiefs, they've gone for campaigns for the CPDM. They use state money, they use state cars, state resources to do campaigns for the CPDM. If you quite remember, some of them who are at the 11th region, Konegi or New Bell, they openly said in court that they use the funds from their corporations they were managing to do campaigns for the CPDM. Is the state money CPDM money? That's the question you're supposed to be posing. So when Nico Halle says, Ntumfor says, the truth must be spoken. A few minutes ago, we were talking about elite. And apparently, Chief Alenkem said, I were an elite.
You are.
I'm not denying the fact, but elite are classified. You see, the political elite of the two regions have brought down the two regions. The Anglophones are suffering today. There is a lot of killing, a lot of maiming, a lot of losing, because the political elite in Cameroon has dealt, in the northwest and southwest regions, has dealt a death blow on these people. They are securing their positions of appointment.
Securing their positions rather than
speaking the truth. They secure their positions. Everybody, whether it's a bureau chief, whether it's a chief of service, whether it's a director, whether it's a delegate, whether it's a minister, they want to remain in their comfort zones at the detriment of the greatest majority.
The advice that we are giving as we
yes. So it were better, as Ntumfor Barrister Nico Halle did say, we should look up ourselves in the mirror before things go off hand. Why? Because today,
are things still under control?
Things aren't under control, but some people feel that things are under control. Tabi, can you imagine? For the past 4 years, in the two English-speaking regions, every Monday is a public holiday. Civil servants don't go to work. The economy is at a standstill. Those two zones have been declared economically dead until the GCAM has to come in to see what they can do. How do you say you have the situation at hand, yet every Monday, first school leaving certificate ought to have started tomorrow Monday, but it started on Tuesday. Do you know why?
Then the GC.
Yeah, the GC has been forwarded to Tuesday, because if they started on Monday, people will not go out in those regions. We must say that is one of the truths we must say here.
Okay. Alenke, your last word on this?
My last word on it is that I think in a war situation, in war, nobody wins. A war is not something that you fight to win. At times, the war comes in to correct a situation. And I think if it was that the war was to correct something, I think the time is ripe for those things to be corrected. And
are you saying that the Anglophone crisis has come to solve a situation?
It has come. Already what the government has brought in as solutions is part of the solutions. They are only part, but for the moment, the armed conflict has to be stopped, and our ministers should stop fooling us that they can reconstruct within the war period, that they can do this inside the war. You can find that even what is very peculiar, what is very open, like education, is not workable on what
the truth.
On what the truth is telling us.
What is the truth?
The truth is that on Mondays in those two regions, you cannot do anything.
The GC was to begin on Monday.
The
first school,
and the rest
sent it to Tuesday.
I'm sent to Tuesday, and you find that instead of writing the GC on Monday, it is being on Saturday. And I think these are part of the issues. Because it's very true that if they put it on a Monday, we know that exams are going to be disrupted.
Yes, we know that equally.
So the head of state. We don't need again to that. It should not wait for the report of the commission. I think this time around they should act fast, because this is
acting fast is what?
Acting fast is bringing an end to the war. Because those guys in the bushes, far from what we have been told by the ministers, those guys, they have gone 10 times above what they were before. If you watch videos on social media and foreign channels, you will find them operating full Golola welfare.
So when the Minister of Territorial Administration comes out and says that there is relative calm, that is not the truth.
No, there is no calm. There is no calm.
Why is it relative?
No, there is no calm. In short, relative is a very bad word to be used in that case. Because you go by the grammar, relative depends upon everyone. Meanwhile, what we're talking about is a universal situation in the two regions, which is that
the truth must be spoken.
Which is that of total insecurity. Even the SDOs, civil servants that are not free from the situation.
Okay. Seseko, your last word on this.
Well, you know, it is said in my dialect that even when you have a bad tooth and it is removed, you must chew with caution. And you know, they also say in my dialect that when a rat runs into fire, then you should know that what is pursuing the rat is bigger than fire. Where you see elites have just started saying certain things, know that what is pursuing them is bigger than what they are saying. And so, we are here saying that there is time for everything. Several things have been done contrary to what my brother thought we did not acknowledge. No, we did. We acknowledge that a lot of things have been done to resolve the crisis.
But not commensurate.
What we are simply saying, not commensurate, what we are simply saying that they are not the right things. Because if we bring out the diagnosis of the problem and they bring the medicine to those problems, they will know whether the problems will come back. It's just like we say that you have headache and then they are giving you maybe cancer medicine. So we are saying that the reason why we are still in this quagmire is because the proper diagnosis have been done, but the real drugs have not been given for the malaise. And so we think that when we come to the platform as Southern Cameroonians that we are, maybe you will not like the term as well, it's my own term. As Southern Cameroonians, it is our duty, first of all, to give the government hope that we are capable of assisting the government if the rightful things are done. And number two, to assure our fellow Southern Cameroonians that all hope is not lost.
Exactly. Because
there is still a possibility for the government to listen to our cries, and especially the head of state, who for now is a patriarch, and being led by a patriarch is supposed to be a blessing. Yeah. It's supposed to be a gift. Yeah. It's not supposed to be a curse. Because you of the CPDM, for example, this, our great patriot, our patriarch asks for two things. I want to be remembered as the one who will bring democracy to this country. You people have refused to give him democracy. He also said, I would like to be remembered as a person who has brought prosperity and development to this country. We are regressing and destroying the few things that we already have. So at the end, you want him to have a disgraceful exit to meet the ancestors? You people should pipe down a little bit. You have tried. For now, allow us to make suggestions that can help you people.
What is the
still remain in power, but still do something better. Yeah. And one of those things is that the system of governance has collapsed. The system of governance is no longer yielding results. The system of election is no longer bringing credible electors or principal leaders. The system of judiciary has made people to lose confidence in the system. The way the military has been deployed in the field is not working well. Okay. The way our brothers who have picked up arms have turned even against some of the people in the area is not yielding results. And so there is only one head that is supposed to bring an end to it. That head, that hand, that person is no other person than President Paul Biya.
That is the truth. The truth of Dr. Ayonta.
And Tabi, before I think Mr. Fu has a word. You see, we spend much time treating the consequences than treating the causes. Because if from the onset the causes to the current quagmire were addressed, we wouldn't have been here talking about these issues today. But rather, people prefer, the stakeholders, they prefer to treat the consequences rather than treating the causes. That is the truth.
The truth. Well, we are now moving on to our second topic. We shall be moving on to our second topic. You have 30 seconds. 30 seconds before we conclude this first topic. Full Godfrey, 30 seconds, please.
Yes. 1 second.
No, 30 seconds. No. That is not the truth. We are here to speak the truth.
We are speaking I'm not saying the truth because
What is the truth, Mr. Fogofri? Yes.
the truth is just that the elite of the Northwest should not remain behind the door blind and behave as if they were spectators of what is happening. And if there is a truth to speak, it means they have a lot to say because they know many things. If today peace cannot reign there, we can just take the example of the North, where the population collaborate with the forces of the law, and we saw what happened there. But today, they themselves they can sit here, they cannot tell you the truth that they cannot go to their villages. And many people are buried here in Yaoundé because they don't have freedom.
That is the
When
truth.
they are there, they behave as if they are angels and they have they are wearing white.
Okay.
So if the truth is supposed to be done, people should not mix up within the CBTM and those who are to speak the truth.
The truth must be spoken. Ntumfor, Nico, Halle has said it. We here on the panel, we have said it. The truth must be spoken. But before we come back, the time for us to have the roundup of this week as what concerns news. And of course, it's a collection of our reporter Anne Umeko. Can we have the roundup of the week, please?
The National Commission for Bilingualism and Multiculturalism organized a workshop in Bamenda, headquarters of the northwest region of the country. Their objective was to discuss on how to fight corruption, unemployment, exclusion, marginalization, stigmatization, tribalism, nepotism, embezzlement, cankerworms that have been eaten deep into the country. The delegation was made up of members of the National Commission for Bilingualism and Multiculturalism. Attendees were encouraged to express their views and opinions without fear of favor. Oba Rose, a journalist and peace builder, reminded members of the commission that those to stop this cankerworm and the war in the northwest and southwest regions are not in the meeting, and so there is need to call on them to stop the killings and hate speech, thus need to speak to the right persons. They were assured that their worries will be forwarded to the President, His Excellency Paul Biya. The Commission's head, David Abwem Choyi, said peace, love and unity is very important to fight hate speech and xenophobia. Barrister Nico Halle on his part admits that it is as a result of frustration that Cameroonians have embraced hate speech and xenophobia. He insisted it is necessary to identify with honesty the origin and root causes, and unless they are diagnosed, nothing will change. Time for telling lies and hypocrisy over. There is hope for change as multiple commissions have been created by the President, His Excellency Paul Biya, and others put under the Prime Minister head of government, Chief Dr. John Gute, and others directly to the Presidency of the Republic. The Divisional Delegate of Economy, Planning and Regional Development for Dian, 42-year-old civil servant, was killed on June 18, 3 days after he was kidnapped by armed separatist fighters, alongside 5 other divisional delegates around 9 a.m. on Thursday, June 15, 2021. He was arrested somewhere around Ekondo Titi subdivision. According to information from credible sources, the arrested delegates are held hostage in 2 separate Amber camps. The Amber fighters are demanding 28 million to free those in one camp and 32 million for those in another camp. The arrested delegates were on a mission to demarcate plant pillars on the parcel of land to be allocated to Eneo, an electricity company, to construct power plants to stabilize electricity supply in their division. Efforts have been multiplied to free these divisional delegates in Amber captivity. A separatist leader identified as Don Patro appeared in a viral video demanding the sum of 1 billion, without which the remaining captives will be used as examples. The lifeless body of Mabia Johnson Modica was reportedly found and had been kept in the mortuary after the utterance of the rebel leader, and the fate of the other captives remain unknown. A memorandum of understanding has been signed by the Minister of Transport, Jean-Ernest Ngalebibehe, Minister of Mines and Technological Development, Gabriel Ndondo Ndoke, for the construction of about 510 km railway connecting Mbalam to the Kribi deep sea port. Alexandre Mbiam, the Best Way Finance Limited Director General, says they will fully finance the cost for the development of this project and the more than 600 kilometers of railroad. This project is a relaunch of the Mbalam Nabeba iron ore deposit linking Cameroon and Congo. For close to 9 years, the project has delayed because the Australian junior mining firms was unable to attract financial partners for the construction of the infrastructures required for the project. The Memorandum of Understanding signed is a big comeback for a positive result for the project and an open door to job opportunities. As efforts by the government to free site works in a bid to stop massive urban disorder, the Douala municipality has taken the lead. Specific fines have been made public to all those who occupy sidewalks in major roads in the town. A decree that legalizes these fines was made known on June 22nd. All pavements occupied by bike riders, car and business people owning shops and small stands on road pavements will have themselves to be burnt. Bike owners will pay 10,000 francs as fines. Vehicle owners will pay 25,000 francs as fines, as well as minibuses, business places, hairdressing salons, carpentry workshops and other similar establishments. Wrong parking of pickup vehicles on sidewalks will pay 50,000 francs CFA, while heavy trucks will pay 200,000 francs CFA. The heaviest fines will be billed to construction material depots by the work site, which will be 250,000 francs CFA. This falls in line with the implementation of Operation Return the Sidewalks to Pedestrians, a campaign launched by the council some months ago to free the sideway illegally occupied by some stubborn Cameroonians. We move over to the Logon and Shari division of the northwest region of the country, where the office of the senior divisional officer went on flames. 4 offices were consumed by the wildfire and extended to the conference center. This occurred while the senior divisional officer, Jean-Lazare Ndongo, was chairing a security meeting that brought together both Cameroonians and Chadians in the presence of the governor of Jamena from neighboring Chad on matters relating to the reopening of the Ngeli Bridge. According to eyewitnesses, the fire outbreak started in the SDO's office before spreading to other parts of the building. Thanks to the quick intervention of the Army Rescue Unit, the fire was quickly brought under control after about 3 hours. Much material loss has been incurred and investigations are ongoing to know the exact cause of the fire. The United Nations Development Program has offered a high-quality scanner to the Yaoundé Central Hospital. It was received at the Medical Emergency Unit, precisely the Ecography and Radiology Department of the hospital, by the Minister of Public Health, Dr. Manauda Malashi. The Health Minister appreciated the gesture and said the scanner will go a long way to help facilitate health activities on patients, especially emergency cases. This will also help in combating the coronavirus pandemic that has been claiming more lives in the country. The representative of the United Nations Development Program, Jean-Luc Stallone, says it is with joy that they have provided the scanner with a warranty of 2 years in terms of sustainability. In our sports page, the Minister of Sports and Physical Education was on an evaluation visit at the Olympia Stadium June 24, 2021. The Minister of Sports, Professor Nassis Moele Kombi, went there to make sure that work is going on smoothly, especially in the infrastructural sector. Quite satisfied, the minister says it is on a backdrop of positive changes in the advancements witnessed for the past 7 days. Though much still has to be done outside the stadium, the necessary and essentials have been made in respect to the program of the Confederation of the African Football. The representatives of Majid Company, Ivan Ropita, reassures the sports delegation during the evaluation meeting that work will be completed on time, as 99% of the work in the stadium has been completed.
We have less than 10 minutes to conclude the program this evening. Less than 10 minutes. The time for us to discuss, maybe briefly, very briefly, our second topic of the day that actually focuses on what is going on in the southwest region, notably the kidnap of these delegates, and one has been killed. Well, what was your take on that when you heard the news? your immediate reaction was what? Of the delegate who was killed?
My first, before the killing in the first place, my first worry and first embarrassment was how they did not recognize the fact that when you are in an armed conflict situation, your safety.
Steve Gunu, just put the second topic on the screen, please.
That your safety is first of all personal, irrespective of all the mechanisms that are put in place. Number two is how 6 divisional delegates could go out in an armed conflict situation without military backup or military support, knowing that they were going to map out an area for the electricity corporation, which means they had to use some bushes or they had to enter into the bushes to do that mapping. Number 3 aspect is how it got to the point where up to now, no statement has been made in relation to their release or to the negotiations, even if maybe they are being done. And number 4 is on the fact that I hear that out of the 6, it is one who has been decapitated or who has been killed, to not to be very also on the TV. The question is what could have happened with this one, because we have cautioned people time and again that when you are kidnapped, irrespective of the situation, the first thing to do is to play cool. The first thing to do is to succumb to whatever conditions are there as much as possible, because these are people who are not actually, they have nothing to lose again. I mean, those who did kidnap, they have nothing to lose. So if you go there and they are subjecting you to any touch or whatever, the only thing you have to do is to be submissive, because anything wrong can go on. We'll be crying over spilled milk. And the last and not the least is the fact that I want to say that we saw situations here where Boko Haram did kidnappings and negotiations were made, the people were released. 5 delegates is not something small. And just to end up, these are our brothers and sisters, where right now a lot of families are gnashing and they are going through a lot of trauma and all of those things. I just want to think that our guys sometimes should just try as much as possible to pipe down a little bit when it comes to certain issues, so that at least we can still be reasonable in the way we act. It is really awesome and awful.
Civil servants, targets of separatist fighters, Alemke?
I was very saddened by the situation, and just as Doctor has said, in 2018, as I said it, that anybody living in a war zone, you should know that if you are living in a war zone and you want to leave, you must dance to the tune of the warlords. But whenever they put hands on you, you can't do anything. There are people who are already on the, they are already pushed to the walls, and they can do anything that they want. But my cry for today, we can no longer continue to cry. My cry is that why should the government allow things to go to this level? And this comes back to the first topic that we have been talking about, that the truth is still to be told. This truth is still to be told. The SDO, how could the SDO allow 6 delegates, 6 divisional delegates, to go into an open forest where those guys are even living? Whoever told them that the environment was even secured? In fact, there are still many unanswered questions that we can pose as to this issue. But what is clear is that the separatist fighters are using it as a technique. It's a very serious technique. It may tell us that.
Are you one of them?
It's telling us that nobody is free.
Are you one of them?
No, matter of
so you know their techniques?
No. Kidnapping is a technique by the warlords to call for attention. To call either for national attention or international attention. And what is very clear is that it is one way equally of raising funds, even though they have refused. We saw 2 days inside the week that one of the Amber generals was moving towards Bamenda to handle our military general with their hands, and he was stopped around Bambidi. If what we're told is not true, then we have to be very careful. I think this has come once more to reconfirm what Senior Barrister has said, Senior Citizen Ntumfor Nico Halle, that it is time this issue is buried. We should bury this issue. There is no gainsaying here. Nobody is winning in this war.
Nobody is winning.
And those who said the head of state has won the war, I think those are statements that they should be withdrawn from public hearings, because in the months and years ahead, some of those statements are going to betray some families.
Full Godfrey, can we say the president has won the war? Full Godfrey, in a war nobody wins, as Alemke puts it.
think the question here was not about the president winning the war or what. The question was, how is it that the civil servants are the target? And if we want to talk about the civil servants who are the target today, and we need to know that when we talk about the civil servant, is somebody who is there to serve civilians, and is somebody who is not armed, is somebody who is working for the interests, for the general interest. And when you hear the mission they were going for electricity, and they have been kidnapped, that's where we come back to the first topic. The truth should be spoken. And the elite here is not only those who are civil servants. The elite here in this studio. No, I'm not talking about it, because the elite here in the studio are already saying what they can say. You understand? So when we are talking about the truth that is supposed to be said, I said the population are also the elite. And wheresoever these civil servants are in those villages, those populations are supposed to know. Because we saw what happened to Cardinal Tumi, who was arrested, and so a few minutes later they went down and they brought him up. And if today, I don't know the evil forest where these civil servants are kept, but the population there are supposed to know where they are, and the only thing I will call them is to say, let them cooperate, let them say the truth, let them tell us where they are keeping those civil servants, because they are there just to do their job, and they are there for their well-being.
We still have 2 minutes, but I will ask for 4. We have 2, but I'll ask for 4. The time for NS-ACO4 to actually conclude.
Thank you, Tabi. I want to say, when I learned of this bad situation in Dian, the southwest region, I was flabbergasted, in the sense that, as Sisiko rightly said, because he did a good synopsis of the situation, it is unheard of. We are in a war situation. There's no gainsaying about it, despite the fact that people will say, no, it is a conflict or the like. So I want to say, why do people target civil servants? It's because, you see, it's an asymmetrical war. A war, you don't know your opponent. We may be sitting here with some belligerents. We may be belligerents here, but who knows? Yeah. So
no, but yes, you don't have one anyway.
I say we may. So that's the situation, because you don't have a regular army versus another one which we can identify and then know how their tactics are all about. That's one thing we must say. So now, the other side must use every means. You know, at a war situation, everybody wants to use every means at his or her disposal to overcome the enemy. So that's why you see the other camp is using the tactic of kidnap and then going in for civil servants, such that it will touch the government officials, so for them to act. But it's rather unfortunate. Since 6 days, has there been any official communication as per the?
Is it equally a strategy on the part of the government not to communicate?
Well, that is where we say we are living in an era of information superhighway, and when you don't communicate, you give room for misinformation, you give room for rumor. I can't see why. I think it's about more than 2 weeks.
Is it a strategy on the part of the government?
Well,
not to communicate?
It will be a bad strategy, because when it came to the embezzlement of funds related to the COVID gate, the Minister for Communication came out and communicated. Why don't you communicate when it concerns human lives, where people have been kidnapped, one has been decapitated? Why can't you come out to communicate and let the people reassure the people? No, this is stay calm. We are looking at the situation. Sisiko even did mention we had kidnaps in the far north region, and the state acted officially, impromptu. Chinese were kidnapped, French were kidnapped, the Italians were kidnapped, the wives of ministers were kidnapped, and instantly ransom was paid, and they were released. Why is it that these guys, the delegates in the southwest regions, what is holding back that the ransom? Is the government ashamed? This is no more time to be ashamed. That is why we say we must speak the truth. And Tabi, I repeat again, we must solve the causes rather than spend time solving the consequences.
Okay, we are ending.
I just want to caution just one minute.
Yeah.
I just want to plead with my brother to my right, Mr. Godfrey, that he should not join the town crying syndrome of saying the population is not collaborating, the population has done this. Because if he has been going to his village as he's saying, he will know the truth. Because it is not as simple as he stands here and he's talking. Because there are many places there where the population is not for the military presence nor those boys' presence. And when those boys enter into a village, about 60 of them well armed, you expect the ordinary people who are there to go and face them?
Impossible.
Number two, the majority of the young able people in the villages are those who have joined these things. So you expect those other innocent people who have decided not to be part of it to go and face people who take drugs, people who deal with black juju, people who do other things that are abnormal. You expect people to, so you people should stop this thing of blame game on the population. I want you to know one thing. That is not what you said. That is not what you said. I'm giving you caution that time. I'm giving you an advice.
We are concluding, please. Allow us to conclude.
Because you have to know that we are not being innocent. We are telling you the truth of what happens in the field. That as what is in the field is that those who are still in the villages are those who are not for the armed conflict.
Okay.
And the situation that they are there, it is between somebody who is between the deep blue sea and whatever they call it. And I want him to know that when a storm is blowing, it's not only the ripe mangoes that fall off a mango tree.
Okay, it's on this.
When they have that in their place, it will make
thank you, Seseko. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching the Republican debate on the Republican television. After some time, NS Akufo is back. And we thank God for him being back. NS, we say thank you for coming again.
It's by the grace of God.
Thank you. It's on this note that we put an end to this, another edition of the Republican debate. Thank you to the entire technical team with Serge Mida and of course Gunu, Steve, and of course Ramses and everybody. We say thank you. Take another appointment same time next week on the same channel. Till then, may God continue to bless the Republic.